Welcome to Some Say I'm Gifted, where we teach you the magic of walking in your spiritual gifts and how it can help you navigate this crazy life, and helping you understand that even though we're in this world, we are not of it. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's get real.
Hello, y'all.
Hello.
It's Tess from Some Say I'm Gifted. Morgan's saying weird stuff to me before we start talking here, and I don't know, what do you mean?
UFO.
Oh, okay, right on.
I see
Okay.
you. UFO, I see you.
I know. God help me. She gives it away. Give it away. Give it away. All right.
Hint, hint.
This is Tess from Some Say I'm Gifted, and I'm here with the genius, marvelous, magical Morgan and Danielle.
Hello, everyone. I'm Danielle.
Hey, it's Morgan.
Yes, and yes, they're here. I know, it's shocking, but we always start the show off with a creation. And today's creation, I want you guys to please reach out, comment. You can comment on the platform or find us on Facebook at Some Say I'm Gifted, Instagram at the same, X at the same, and or on email at somesayimgifted@gmail.com. But today's question is, what is your favorite podcast outside of Some Say I'm Gifted?
Dungeons and Daddies.
She's a little weird. That one.
It's a role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game.
It's role-playing game.
Did they talk about the game on the podcast?
They play the game on the podcast. They are movie writers that use a lot of improv, and they play Dungeons and Dragons. Well, they play as humans, like normal, everyday, today's generation humans who are taking their kids to a soccer ball game, and they get sucked into a portal into like D&D world, and they lose their kids, and they go on this adventure trying to find their kids again.
Wow.
It is amazing.
Wow. That is fascinating. That is not what I listen to, but that's cool.
Me neither.
Um,
I feel like that's a nightmare I've had.
Just a reoccurring one.
Yeah.
Keeps going.
Yeah. Walked into another portal or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Thank you. I mean, I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
That's cool.
Thank you.
That was cool. Very supportive.
Yeah.
Listen, I was just answering y'all's question.
I agree. Okay. Go on.
My favorite is Lore.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
We all love Lord. You like Lord,
Yes, I
don't you?
love Little Podcast.
I like Aaron Mankey a lot.
Say hi. I like it when people say hi.
Yeah. Literally. But yeah, that's what I listen to besides this absolutely wonderful podcast.
He produces a lot of other ones that I like too. Cabinet of Curiosity. Yeah, he does a lot. So I love that one. I've never heard Dungeons and Daddies, but I feel like I've been in a few situations with those things. But nevertheless, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I can't say I have a favorite one, but I like informative podcasts. I like podcasts with Cat Williams on it. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. I think he's really cool.
He's a cool guy to listen to.
Yeah, and he can make me laugh till I cry.
Oh.
He is hilarious, and I think he's a really cool person. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never heard bad things about him. I mean, whatever. But we would like to hear what you guys have to say, and the answer better be Some Say I'm Gifted. No, I'm just playing. But it really should be. Anyways, we have a very interesting topic for my studies today.
Yes.
And it's one that I've been really looking into for a while because I like weird brain stuff. I think it's cool.
We've learned that.
Is that what you're into? Weird brain stuff?
That's why I like my husband. He's so smart.
Oh.
He lets me play with his brain.
Oh.
There used to be a song that said, it's a really dirty song, but it said something about she gave brain.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
It's probably too, I'm older than you two. Anyways, so there was a really cool, I think he was a neuroscientist, correct?
Yes.
Gary Nolan.
Yes, Dr. Gary Nolan.
Yes, and he was such a cool dude that he started doing studies on people's noggin, saying, "What's up, bro? Let's see what's in there." And people that had had UFO, that's why Morgan was like, "UFO, I see you." UFO experiences and the phenomenon of a paranormal experience, they got a little bit different brain, which is so amazing. The government's looking into it now, and like military, which I don't know why I don't know what a use that would be, other than maybe their naked eye would be able to catch things that a non brain deformation person would, because it's a growth, basically. It's a different. So in the basal ganglia, I'm saying that correct,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
There are two things, and that's why we like to call this the Banglia. Correct, Morgan?
Either Banglia or UFO ICU.
I'm going to just let y'all handle that. Okay. Wait. Let's go back. Have either of you two ever seen a UFO?
No, I've not seen a UFO.
Never.
Not that I know of.
What about you?
I have not ever seen anything that I would identify as a UFO.
Okay, I have.
You have?
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
So my dad and his family, I was taught the stars, the constellation, what we know them as, the Cherokee names, yada, yada, yada. So we spent a lot of time looking up, look up into the heavens. And it was really interesting to learn, that they were things. And like, for instance, Cherokee believed that the owls, like who owl, like they are aliens.
Really?
And that they are sent here to watch us. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, when I was a kid, we would see them all the time. Like my dear husband, he's never seen a shooting star, and I've seen more than I can count.
I've seen lots of shooting stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just meteors, but shooting stars. Yeah. And I love meteor showers. There's actually one coming up, I believe, tomorrow night. Don't quote me on that. But we're in the same hemisphere, guys. So all three of us, even though we all don't live in the same area, we still get the same hemisphere. So, yeah, I've seen tons of them. One of the most memorable ones was my mom and I was probably early 30s, late 20s. And we were on our way to a paranormal event, and Mom was like, "I don't believe in aliens." I was like, "Well, you don't have to. It doesn't matter." She's like, "Oh, so you've seen a UFO?" I'm like, "Mom, how many times have me and Dad told you we've seen UFOs?" Like, they're out there, right? And I think my dad used to do it in a joking way, because so if you ask my brother if people knew him, and they were like, he'd be like, "No." But my dad was also shocked 3 times by lightning, so he was a little different. Because lightning's not supposed to strike the same time place, right? But he got it 3 times. Okay, so anyways, we're driving. I can tell you where we were. We were on 26 right before exit 12, and which I think is the North Roan Street and South Roan Street exit. Right above the Boy Scout of America house, which is probably 3 or 4 story home. There, Mater from Cars?
Yes.
It looked like his headlights above the house.
Really?
They were round, they were spaced out like, whatever kind of truck Mater is. And it looked like them. And I said, "Open your eye, Mom." And I tapped her forehead in the center like I was tapping and waking up her third eye. And all of a sudden, she went, "Oh my God, there's lights in the sky." And I was like, "Yeah." Wow. And then the lights went out like eyes closed. It wasn't like, it wasn't like you turn the light off, it just turns off. It was like you could see it closing. Ooh. And Mom talked about it for months. And I was like, "It's all right. I've seen more."
This isn't my first rodeo here, Mom.
I was like... Then years later, me, Mom, and Carolyn, who is a gypsy that works with us, I think it was Carolyn, pretty sure it was, we were at Red Mountain. Mom and I were teaching, and all of a sudden, I had walked outside because I used to smoke, and I looked up, and there was a blanket of stars that were moving.
Oh.
Like a chameleon.
Like a spaceship that had put lights to emulate stars.
Yeah.
But
They
all of them.
move.
Right, like they were a chameleon thing
Yeah.
in the sky. Yeah.
So I screamed, and they came running out, and my mom went live, and everybody could see it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The thing that got me was when you see the stars, there's even on the top of a mountain, with stars, you've got light pollution. So if you live in an area where there's a lot of light, it will reflect and you can't see the stars as well, right?
Right.
And like I keep talking about moving, but at my house where I live now, the stars, oh my God, they'll knock your socks off. Mm-hmm. But in Roan Mountain, there's even less light pollution. But these look like crappy track lighting that you could almost touch.
Oh,
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they look like artificial lights. They didn't look like stars.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It was really bizarre.
So do you think there's certain people that can see things like that and certain people that can't?
Well, here's what I do know. Like, for instance, oh gosh, William will kill me, but he did, so they take this camera, like, you know what a Xbox 360 is, right?
Yeah.
You know the kinetic camera that when you can play like Dance Revolution or whatever, and there's a camera that sits there and it takes your body and makes you a stick figure.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
I think it's called a kinetic camera. Is that right?
I don't know. But it can like track your movement
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
Without you holding anything, it just picks up on movements. Mm-hmm. So they take those and they rewire them to not necessarily run on a game rhythm or what. I don't know. Basically, they could take those and use them for paranormal investigations. Mm-hmm. And my husband is not like I'll hear spiritual things in the house, and he'll go, "Did you hear that?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." And if I say yeah, he stops there. Mm-hmm. But if he hears something and I say no, even if I did, he'll investigate, right? Mm. So it was a gathering here. We have gatherings where all these gypsies come together. Sometimes there's vendors, sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's events, whatever. Anyway, so we were at a haunted location. It was a winery that was owned by a family I used to work for up in North Carolina. And we were in this one weird part of the winery. It was where a lot of weddings were done, but it was also like a back area. And William had his camera set up, okay? And he said, "Where should I put it?" I said, "Put it right there." And he did. And as soon as he did, it picked up a stick figure waving. And I told my, at the time, boyfriend, but now husband, "Look, see," and all you can do is hear him screaming. And William got it all on camera, and I have a jump drive with it on there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. But before then, he was like, no, that's not possible.
Yeah.
And
it was because
he
I
came
said,
out and spoke, like hung out, or not. I don't know if he spoke, but yeah, I think he came out and hung out with me in the car.
yeah, he did. He went outside. And the funny thing was, we'll talk about it still, but he's like, "Yeah, that was fun," but it freaked him out. And I said, "Why did it freak you out? I mean, it could have picked up anything." And he said, "Because you told him where to point, and that's where it was." Mm-hmm. He said, "So you knew it was there." Mm-hmm. So yes, I do think that some people can see things. I mean, I know people that are audio and they only hear, and I know people that don't hear. I know people that are visual and they see everything, and I know people that don't see anything. So I do think it's interesting. But this in particular study of this guy blows my mind. So we know that Morgan and I've had paranormal experiences. You've had paranormal experiences. Mm-hmm. I think that the UFO thing's really cool because my perception of UFOs is probably, and aliens is not necessarily what everybody takes it as. Mm-hmm. But maybe we'll go on to that in another episode, because then we could also talk about cryptozoology, which is really cool, like
Bigfoot,
Nephilims, things like that. Okay, So anyways. So he says that the basal ganglia. What did I say, Bengal? It's Morgan's fault. Basal ganglia, that's, I think, in the back of the brain. Mm-hmm. It has two parts in it that fire neurons. I'm not going to say them right. What are they called?
it's the cat. I think it's the cattae and the putamen.
Yes. And they fire lots of neurons. So it's actually an overproduction of neurons that make, and that though everybody has that, but and that's what controls perception and intuition. So, but when you have an extra growth there of the firing neurons, correct?
It's between the two parts.
Yes. So
yes.
you get that growth of firing neurons.
Yes.
You get people that can see things. Mm-hmm. So what? That means that there is a difference, and that that God can, if He made us. Do you see what I'm saying?
He gifted us those neurons.
Huh?
He gifted us those neurons.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's an over amount of neurons.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's like an abnormal growth is what this neuroscientist is finding out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So here's my question, because we had talked about it. We talked about it on another episode. My family's gifted, both sides. We talked about it. You know, I grew up in it. Morgan's family was gifted. I absolutely think she was gifted on both sides of her family, but it was talked about more from your mother, correct?
Yes.
And Danielle's like, I don't think my family's gifted, but here she is, and we know she's gifted. So I said earlier, and I don't know if this is how it works, but I would assume it could work this way. Let's say your dad had more firing neurons in the one that started with a K, and your mom had more firing neurons with the one that started with a P. And then when they came together and gave birth, and you were created, you got the best of both worlds, and you got that. Mm-hmm. Because if it would be something like that, one would think that it would be a genetic. Does that make sense? Yeah. How do you think about that, Morgan?
Which aspect?
Like in terms of the genes and being passed down from like parents and stuff. Like, do you feel like it's a genetic thing that people can get because of their lineage?
I think you could say it's genetic or generational.
Oh, okay.
You do?
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
I think because looking at my family, and I don't know if it's because like some of my aunts mixed with Muggle blood, but the gifts and how they were distributed, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I always see. I mean, there's things that I usually always see, but it's not. I only don't just see that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So. In a way, it would be genetic, but at the same time, you've got to take everything into perspective, you know?
Yeah. I think there could also be like a case-by-case basis.
True.
Depending on what you're exposed to while you're young.
Now, I might be wrong in saying this, but he said it was like 1 in every 200 people.
Yes.
That's not that many. Mm-mm. I mean, it's more than 1 in 1,000.
Well, it makes sense as to why there's so many skeptics.
I wonder if, like, the more purebred, and
oh boy.
Like, let me explain. You know, like, if you Googled right now, where are more UFO sightings, you're usually in rural country areas.
Yeah.
Concentrated areas.
But, like, away from the city, like, more.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, if you look to that, like, for instance, up in some of these mountains, some of the bloodlines, I'm not saying like there's not many limbs off the tree, but I'm saying like you can, for instance, 4 generations ago, my great grandfather Strawbridge Young came to America. Mm-hmm. So we're 5th generation Americans on my mom's dad's side. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's more of a direct bloodline of before a lot of Muggle mixing, so to speak. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. Yes. And I wonder if that has anything. These are things that I actually lay in bed and think about at night. Like, if more Muggle blood, and I'm just saying Muggle blood. I don't necessarily believe that, you have to be this way or that way. I just think that there's truth in this, clearly.
Obviously.
I mean, I'm assuming that Dr. Gary Nolan is quite accredited.
I think it's fascinating that they've done this study and they've taken a number of people who have claimed that they've seen paranormal or UFO sightings and studied their brains enough to see this abnormal growth in it and have been able to link that to one another.
Yeah.
I find that extremely fascinating. Obviously, there's merit to it, and obviously, there's a reason they're looking into it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I personally feel like as our generation grows and gets older, that the veil is thinning in a sense.
Yes.
And that there are a lot more people that are perceiving things that they might not have before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also think that the awareness of looking up, I do think that's slowing, like that number's getting smaller because we're on our phones.
Yes.
Something I thought was really funny, I was watching my kids. We were at a, we were at a ETSU basketball game, and here they are looking at their phones, watching somebody else do a video of a basketball game.
Oh,
Jasper was telling me that he was having YouTube videos read him stories.
Yeah.
Like instead of just picking up the book himself,
Yeah.
he's having people on YouTube read him the stories.
Yes.
And it's a comic book, so it's like a picture book. So this
Yeah.
person is literally flipping the pages and reading it to him.
I'm happy he's doing that.
I love it. I do. I'm
But
just saying.
yes, it is very, like people be like, look, it's a UFO, and you can see the same hemisphere, and you're going to watch it on your phone. So in a way, that guy in that video, and I don't remember who he is because I don't think he even says, but he talks about Dr. Nolan a lot. He talks about a story of a father, a son, a daughter, and a mom in a vehicle. Mm-hmm. The mom says, oh, look, there's a UFO. She takes a picture, and she shows, and some of the people in the car see it, and some of the people don't.
yeah. Yeah, there were 2 people sitting in the front, 2 people sitting in the back, and her and her daughter were in the back, and they said they saw this UFO. They took a picture of it. The dad and the son said they didn't see it. And what they described what they saw and what the picture took were 2 different things.
Yes.
And the dad and the son didn't even see it. So there was 3 different perceptions going on there of this sighting.
Yeah. So what if, and it's going to sound bonkers, what if it's not necessarily a good thing, but it's just a perspective alteration that, like we were talking about on another episode, color blindness is your eyes and brain telling you what you're seeing is actually another color. Mm-hmm. So it's a perspective thing. Mm-hmm. So I would love to know the percentage of those people that had the basal ganglia thing that were colorblind, if there was any correlation there.
That'd be cool.
I would also like to know the percentage of people, well, I don't even know if it's the percentage of people, but those that have been like desensitized to awareness of the outside world due to electronics versus not. And if that has any say in their perception of otherworldly things. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's, unfortunately, I think that once you get to a certain point, you can't turn it off. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can, let me rephrase that. Hold on. I work with somebody who took classes from me. Very talented student. But this student wanted to take a break from seeing things spiritually. And I said, good luck with that. I don't know how to turn it off. Okay. I know how you can put blinders on, but I don't know how to take those. I mean, I can help you take them off, but you're basically going to have to put yourself in a sensory bubble because mm-hmm. that's kind of that's a lot of what we do. And this person was very determined to do it. And I think it worked for this person for a while. But when this person came back to wanting to see things, it was so intense that I think it knocked her for a loop for a while. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Morgan, you know this person. Would you say that was true?
Yes, I would. I would say it was very extra eye-opening after she returned.
Trying to shut it down.
Yeah.
So like I said, I think once you get to a certain point, I don't think you can. Now, that being said, you can ignore somebody sitting beside of you. Mm-hmm. So if you have the ability to ignore that, then you can ignore all your gifts.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you can shut it down. My worry is that guy's video was talking about how the government was studying it and military. My question would be why? Mm-hmm. What's your point? Are you trying to shut it down, to dumb us down? You know, I know this is probably crazy, but do you know that fluoride, y'all know what fluoride is, right? It's in the water. It's also, you have fluoride rinses for your mouth, mm-hmm. like for your teeth. So, one thing that I'm really excited about with this administration, they're going to be taking fluoride out of the water, which is awesome. Okay. Government administration. But anyways, so they started putting fluoride into the water because they found out that fluoride itself forms a thick callus on the pineal gland.
Oh.
So guess who started putting it into the water? Y'all, you really don't know?
No.
Hitler. Because he was trying to cut Jewish people off from the Creator. And he also had a thing for gifted people and people with any deformities. So if he could cut them off from their Creator, that was a huge torture. So they would give them large amounts of fluoride in their water.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden scientists decided, oh, fluoride in the water is the way to go. It helps you. The only thing that takes that off is long exposure of not you doing it. So like when you're like, oh, I'm drinking tap water. I'm like, I won't drink tap water. Is long exposure to not having it. I won't use a fluoride tooth wash either, or like mouthwash or toothpaste. And boron. Taking boron. And it does work. I've done it, and it is insane.
I'm sorry, what's boron?
Boron is an acid that you can get in pill form.
Oh.
But I encourage you to be careful taking it.
Is it like an over-the-counter
Yep,
thing?
at a vitamin shop, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'll tell you how intense it was. So I took boron. I'd been taking it for a few days. And I was driving down a road that I frequented a lot with my father in North Carolina by Grandfather Mountain. If you guys know where Grandfather Mountain is, it was really at the peak where you can see the Grandfather Mountain face kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I was a child sitting in the back seat looking up at Grandfather Mountain and hearing my dad talk, which was impossible because he was dead and I was a grown woman. What woke me up was the oncoming semi that had swerved into the road and it was honking at me. It wasn't like I was on drugs. It was like my brain was trying to regulate my pineal gland because So I continued to take it. I just cut my dose in half.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Because I had already been to at a place where I'd cut out fluoride and everything. So it was like a double whammy. But yeah, it's
overworking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would they be wanting to do that to find chemicals to possibly dumb us down and remove it? That would be my bigger question. I think the study is great.
It's funny because I was thinking kind of in the opposite vein of maybe not wanting to smarten us all up, but wanting to get their military to where they are able to see this so that they can combat it.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah, because SpaceX is a thing now, so that's cool.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might be a pre-request for SpaceX.
Yeah.
Or like you could be ranked higher because of SpaceX because you have the alien eye or the blind eye to see that,
It's all fascinating.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what our listeners feel about it.
Absolutely. So where would they find us, y'all? Facebook and Instagram at Some Say I'm Gifted, as well as email at somesaymgifted@gmail.com. I'm on X, but it's unfiltered like Morgan and her little fingers. And you can find me personally on Facebook at Tessa Ray McKittrick. And I would love to hear from you guys. We love hearing from you guys. We like it when people say hi. Please subscribe, follow on all your listening platforms. Comment on there. Got reviews. We live for the reviews. And we love you guys so much. Thank you, each and every one of you. We appreciate you. You are smart. You are kind. You are worthy. We love you. Have a wonderful day. Good night.
Love you guys.